Well, we're excited to be in this game. It was a heck of a battle last night, and we're really excited to be able to play again.
Questions?
Greg Joyce from the New York Post. I'm just wondering, how did you find Marek, and how difficult is it to project what he may be able to do?
I've only taken one player in my career off tape, and he was before Marek. He was the worst player I've ever had. He looked great on tape. He was, normally we don't ever even would think about taking somebody off of tape. But we were in the summer, we lost a player late, or knew we were going to lose a player pretty late. So our numbers were really sketchy at the time. We had got some tape. We liked, what we saw. We knew that he was a productive player on his junior team. And, you watch him on tape, it's what he is. He's quick, he runs, he's got a good feel for the game. He's one of the only European players that can't shoot that I've seen in the last few years, but he's more athletic than a lot of European guys. He came in, Adrian's worked with him really hard. I've tried to help him a little bit. We changed his shot a little bit, and he's pretty good from about 15 feet in. He makes his free throws, and he's got a good touch from 15. When he moves out, he goes back a little bit to his old form. But last night, maybe because he had to hurry it or something, the three he made, he shot perfectly. But he's a really smart player. If he weighed 200 pounds, 210, he'd probably be one of the better players in the country. He weighs 175. And he's a good player, but he gets muscled. He has some games where he gets muscled. We have a really good three-man offensive team that people try to help on our other guys, and that creates some openings for him, and he sees where those openings are, and he can be very productive in those open situations. And when people play him straight up, it gives our other guys a little bit more room to work out there. But he's gotten better all year, but he's pretty much what we thought coming in. Really knows how to play and has a good feel for the game. And at the time, again, it was a necessity move. And the way things worked out, it became even more of a necessity move.
Larry Lee, Associated Press coach. Frank Howard, what do you say or do to help him cut down turnovers? And your thoughts on Cassius Winston's game?
Well, he's started out the year at a horrific rate, and he's been really good. He's been really good over last half, 3/4 of the season. And Cassius Winston, I've had him with USA Basketball when I was the chairman of that committee. He's a tremendous player, really, really good player. But he's one of 10. Michigan State's a team you can't focus on one guy or two or three or four. You have to play the whole team.
Jim, could you please share some memories of when you coached against Jaren Jackson Sr., and then maybe your thoughts on his son, who you're going to be seeing tomorrow?
Yeah, he was a really, really good player at Georgetown. Didn't like him too much. I don't like anything about Georgetown, but he was a really good player, and his son's a better player. He's a really good player.
I'm curious how you think the fact that you've got so many guys playing 35, 40 minutes a game affects the personality or the character, I guess, of this team.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Do you think that they enjoy that, or it affects the way that they...
I've never had a player that didn't enjoy playing every minute of every game. If you ask them if they're upset about playing every minute, I don't think you'll find one of them upset. I remember I had a player once many years ago, and he was playing about 36 minutes a game, and his father came to me and says, he's not happy. I said, what do you mean? He wants to play the whole game. Well, we're up 30. They all want to play. Obviously, in reality, if you play, the really good players play about 37 minutes. I mean, you tell me you can play 37, you can't play 40? It's 3 minutes. I mean, it's not like If you're not playing 40, you play 28. You know, the really good players on most teams, Michigan State's an exception, they have tremendous depth. But the really good players, if you look at the top 3 players on every good team, they play 38 minutes, the top 3 guys. Duke, Rhode Island, they're playing today, they play those guys the whole game virtually. They only come out when they get in foul trouble. Our defense keeps us out of foul trouble for the most part. Not always, but usually. But no, players want to play. And as I've said many, many times, every 4 minutes you got, it seems like about a 5-minute timeout. It must be 2.5 to 3, whatever it is now. I'm sitting there for at least 2 minutes. I know that, not saying anything. 'Cause they're going to get about 30 seconds worth that they're going to remember. So the other 2.5 minutes is just looking around. But so they get that rest. That's very helpful. But there's no question, you know, our players are going to get tired at some stages, and you know, a really good tired player is better than an average fresh player. You know, Tyus Battles made 5 or 6 threes at the end of games this year for us to either win the game or keep us in the game. And if you're really tired, you don't do that. But whenever we lose, somebody will say, well, you're tired. We win, I guess they're not tired.
Jim, over here at Graham Couch, Lansing State Journal. Do you remember when you sort of had an inkling that Tom Izzo would get the program rolling at Michigan State? I know you faced him in 2000, but did you know before that?
Well, yeah, I knew he was an assistant coach. I knew Tom when he was an assistant coach, and he knew the game. He was a hard-charging guy. And, you know, I knew when he took over at Michigan State, he'd do a great job. I love Judd Heathcote. Judd was a great coach, but he wasn't the kind of recruiter that Tom would be and has become. But there was never any doubt that he'd be a great coach. He's an absolutely, you know, one of the great coaches that we've ever had. And I think he's even better off the court. He's one of the nicest people I know. I've known him. I've been on the board with him. I've been around him for probably close to 40 years now, and from when he was an assistant. And there's no guy that has better character that you would want to be your head coach more than Tom Izzo. I've seen countless situations where I've been around him where he always does the right thing 100% of the time. Tom Izzo would never do the wrong thing. And anybody that thinks other than that, they don't know Tom Izzo. I know him. I've been involved in stuff. You're not supposed to say things, but Tom Izzo's not going to do things that aren't right 100% of the time. On the basketball court, off the basketball court. He's a great guy. He's a great leader. And I'm very proud that he's a friend of mine.
Jim, thank you for your time. Just going off your comment on timeouts, what's sort of the key to running a good timeout and organization-wise, or
well,
or what
you
you're
know,
trying
I
to do?
think if they get one thing that you say, you had a good timeout. There's many times that we put one thing in and we're coming out of the huddle, and I'd see one guy going, "What play are we running?" You get one thing across or so, and usually you take a timeout. It's better if the other guy takes one, you don't need one. But if you take one, you're just trying to sit them down and get them on track. I never used to believe it really helped that much, but I think I've learned over the years, I think sometimes it does help. Coach Wooden used to say, whoever takes the first timeout is going to lose the game. I'm not sure that's really true. But he was pretty smart.
Jim, Casey Harrison, The State News. With Michigan State having 5 starters who average double-figure scoring, what is the best way for your team to slow down, a fast-paced offense like Michigan State's?
Play good defense. Make them take time. Make them have to work for their shots. And then make sure we take time and get good shots on our end. those two things.
Additional questions?
Jack, Team 92-1 and Fox 47. Jim, you were pretty eloquent last night talking about the Virginia situation. A lot of people have been coming at them, the team and the program, pretty hard over the last 16 hours.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there. I know that.
When people say that they would rather have had a 15-16 season than to have what Virginia had, what does that say about our sense of perspective, and what would you tell those people?
That group of people, if there really is a group like that, probably are unemployed or idiots, never went to school, or they're really, really smart lawyers and doctors that think they know everything and really, in reality, probably know what they're doing and know nothing else. And Tony Bennett's in my top 2 or 3 coaches in the country by far. Unfortunately, in our business, it's all about the tournament when you're a good team. When you just get in, like now, I'm a great coach. I'm shit. I'm no better than I was 2 weeks ago. But, well, he won 2 games. Oh, wow, he must be really good. No, nothing to do with that. I've seen coaches win games in this tournament, 2 or 3, 4 games, and they're terrible coaches. Things just went right. And it's what you do over the course of 35 games that determines what kind of coach you are. You win 17 games in the ACC, win the ACC tournament. I think he's got one guy who was hurt that'll be an NBA player. The other guys are, they're pretty good. There's a couple. They may sneak. I don't know. They may sneak in there, but he's won the ACC against Duke and North Carolina, 4 or 5 years? I don't even know what it is. It's beyond even trying to understand it. With maybe 2 recruits in the top 40, and he's playing against 15 guys on each team over those period of time that were in the top 20 or top 10 or top 5 and wins. Come on. It's one game. It's one game. I can't. But a reasonably good player on the Pro Tour can beat Tiger Woods in one game, 18-hole round. When he was at his peak, he got beat a lot. This is college basketball. I saw the Spurs get beat in their first game of the playoffs one year. They won the championship. Golden State, I think, got beat in their first game. They won the championship. It's a one and done. You're off your game a little bit, And this, it's not that they're like people will say, well, they're just good in the regular season. They're not good. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. You look at every year they've lost, and I'm not going to recite the whole thing, but they lost to Michigan State in the Garden. Michigan State had a great team. I don't remember all the other ones, but you play in this tournament, you're going to get beat. Pittsburgh, they didn't like their coach because he didn't win the tournament. They're doing really good now, aren't they, in Pittsburgh? I know all those people were yelling too. They wanted him out. And they pay this guy about $10 million, which they're trying to renege on, which is great for a university to do, have a signed contract with a guy and then say, well, he yelled at his players. That's 350 coaches are going to get fired tomorrow for that. But no, come on. The tournament is, I've lost in this tournament. Everybody has. I looked at the list of bad losses, and I couldn't believe we weren't even on it. Yeah, but Mike Krzyzewski's lost. I've lost. Roy Williams has lost. Bill Self has lost. Dean Smith lost. There's nobody that hasn't lost. I think you could easily make the case that Tony Bennett's way overachieved in the regular season, and they play like they probably are in the tournament. You could possibly make that case. This year is a little aberration, obviously. That was a bit, but the other losses, it's a tough tournament, and really good coaches, good teams get beat. Tom Izzo's one of the best tournament coaches ever, and I sat there 2 years ago and watched Middle Tennessee beat him, and they played a perfect game. We beat Middle Tennessee the next game by 30. By 30. It's just basketball. We lost to Vermont, and the next day, next game, Tom Izzo beat Vermont by 20. It's just the game. It's a crazy game, and the tournament's a crazy thing. We all know that. We all say that, but then we don't follow through on that. If I could hire a coach in this country and I could get Tony Bennett, there would be no second place. There would be nobody in second place. Nobody. He's kicked our ass every time we played him, except we got lucky once.
We've got time for a couple more.
Just going back to Marek, how have you seen him adjust to living in a new country? Never mind the difficulties that come with adjusting to
He
Division
seems
I
to be
basketball.
doing pretty good. He's doing well in school. He's got a blonde cheerleader for a girlfriend. He's starting on a team in the 32 in the country. I guess he's doing okay. She drives him all over, too. So, I mean, shit. It's almost should be illegal. Probably is.
Larry Leach from Associated Press. Coach, obviously Michigan State's going to have a ton of fans there, but you're going to have Dave Bing, Derek Coleman.
Well, if I could play him, we'd have a shot. Really good shot. We had dinner with Dave and Derek the other night, and it was always great to see those guys. They're great guys, great people. Dave Bing was my roommate in college, and he taught me how to do a lot of things that have helped me in life. He's really the most mature, most well-rounded individual that I've ever been around in my life. He had a huge impact on me. I was from Lyons, New York, 5,000 people. I didn't know who the Supremes were when I came into my room. And he taught me an awful lot. Although the first day of practice, I thought I was pretty good, and I guarded him. He had 15 straight baskets against me. I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I don't know about this situation. My mom was pretty smart. She said, well, how about the other players? I said, well, they're not that good. I said, well, then you'll be okay.
Got time for two more.
Vinand Gupta, playing for Sports Illustrated for Kids. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing these clothes today because I'm proud of who I am and where I'm from. And I wanted to know, what are you proud of for who you are, where you're from, and for your team?
Well, that's a great question. Best one of the day, which figures. I'm proud to be from Lyons, New York, a town of 5,000 people, small little town, and got to Syracuse when I was 17 and didn't know much about anything. And I remember as a freshman playing on the freshman team, one of my best friends said, well, you're doing okay, but why'd you come to Syracuse? You're never going to play here. So he's still a good friend of mine today, but I do remind him of that about every time I see him. But I'm very proud to be from Syracuse. Syracuse is a great place. It's a great city. The people are great. 4 months the weather's bad, and we play basketball then. So I don't really think about that too much. But it's a great community. They support our basketball program, and they support all our causes. We raise $1 million a year in Syracuse for charity, and most coaches can't raise $100,000. So we're very fortunate to be in that city. We 200,000 people in the city, and we average 22,000 people a game this year. It's tremendous support. We have parking for 500 cars. And it gets cold. It does get cold. I don't talk about that a lot.
Jim, Matt Winslow with MLive. You have a few guys that play obviously a lot of minutes. Tyus said he doesn't even look at the bench anymore. He doesn't even look over there. How much do you see that as just like a point of pride from those guys? They don't even think about coming off the floor. So.
No, they know they're going to be out there, and there's a comfort to that too. As a player, I never like to come out. You always want to be in the game, and when I'd come out, I hope the guy that went in played bad so I could get back in. Unless it was a close game, then I might not do that. But all players want to play. They want to be they want to be in the game as much as they can, and it's they're going to get worn down. They're going to feel it sometimes. You just got to play through it and go from there. That's all you can do. you can't think about that. You can't think about the negatives in this game. You got to think about the positives. And this team's been great at that. We shot the ball horrifically last night against Arizona State. We did not shoot it well, and we're able to get at the end of the day get the win. And they've been good at that all year. We've had a few good shooting games, and we're probably going to need one pretty soon here.
Coach, we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.